Hello, hello, hello. This is Patrick Stack, co-founder of Sports Biz Camps. Really excited here to welcome some amazing industry professionals. Sports Biz Camps Career Exploration Camp is next Tuesday. It's less than a week away. And what we want to do is bring together some professionals to talk through sports for good and the way that sports can make a positive impact in the community. And I'm really excited to welcome Uchenna Nwosu and also Lauren Walsh here on this panel discussion. So I wanted to kind of talk through that. I think I'll start by introducing Lauren. Lauren Walsh is going to be super involved in the camp next week. She's leading a couple different panels. But Lauren, maybe introduce yourself to our prospective campers.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Lauren Walsh, founder and president of LW Branding, which is a strategic branding and marketing agency that helps influencers, athletes, and change makers really understand their why and live out their wildest dreams. So I'm very happy to be a part of this and excited to add some value and hopefully help some people move towards that dream career that they're looking for.
Thank you, Lauren. And can you introduce your partner in crime, your client here on Uchenna? Kind of just talk us through that, what you do for him, and then talk through kind of the introduction would be great.
Yeah, I would love to. So always very, very proud to be able to partner on anything and mention, Uchenna Nwosu. For those who don't know, he is playing for the LA Chargers. He also was, this past year, he was the Chargers Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. He actually is one of the youngest players to ever receive that nomination, which was huge and speaks a lot to his character. So as we'll get into in this conversation, he is someone who understands what it means to truly use his platform for good and give back. And it's amazing to then see his team, like the Chargers and his community, get behind it and recognize him for that. So without further ado, Uchenna, if you want to go ahead and just give a quick overview of you and your USC career and then how that landed you with the Chargers.
Yes, as Lauren introduced me, Uchenna Nwosu here. I actually started off, I'm from Carson, California, city kid from here in Los Angeles, went to Norborn High School, started playing football sophomore year there. Didn't really play varsity football till about senior year in high school. Got my scholarship to USC. Spent 4 years there. Graduated with a bachelor's in political science, and was drafted to the Los Angeles Chargers in the second round.
Was that dream come true? I mean, it sounds like you didn't play football until later, which so maybe it wasn't like a long time dream, just something you kind of, I guess I'm really good at this. How did that? You didn't start playing varsity until your senior year, and you got a scholarship to SC?
Yeah, so it's pretty much a long story. I don't know if you guys want me to explain it, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, we got time. The people want to hear.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't start playing tackle football till sophomore year in high school. I was mainly a basketball player my whole life. I thought I wanted to be Kobe, Jordan, but I wasn't 6'5", so I had to settle what I could do. So I just randomly one day just went out to tryouts, made the team, and then from there, the rest is history. I played varsity. I didn't play varsity till my senior year. I had a couple offers from different schools: Washington, Wyoming, Oregon State, and then luckily SC just came along, and by Ed Orgeron when he was the interim coach there. So I'm very grateful to him for that opportunity. To recognize my talents. Being from the inner city, most guys don't really get these big opportunities, but I was able to make it. So very grateful to him. And just dream come true. What can I say?
That's awesome, man. I'm sure there's a whole lot of hard work involved in that as well, which we don't always see. So most of our students that attend this camp love sports, and it's because they play sports. It's all high school kids. Can you just give them kind of a glimpse into the life of a student athlete? Maybe one thing that you miss about being a student athlete in college, and maybe a couple things you don't miss so much about being a student athlete in college?
Yeah, being a student athlete in college is, it's tougher than you think. When you first get there, you're young, 17, 18 years old, you want to hang out, you want to, be on campus, you want to see all the cool places, you want to party, you want to do all those types of things. But at the same time, you're in college now. This isn't high school. You don't have your parents there with you. So you're pretty much on your own. So you have to learn a lot of, how to manage time and how to, get to all these things on time and all the different things you got to do, whether it be, recreational sports or, classes or, whatever you got going on, work. So just being able to manage time was just tough. So that's one thing I always remember in college is how to manage time, with football and study hall and, workouts and, 6 a.m. workouts and runs. And it was all just a lot. But, luckily we had the best advisors and, the best supporting staff around us to, just to give us different tips on how to manage things and move around. And so it was a great time for me at SC. And that's the one thing I'll say was the hardest for me was time management. And the second thing I missed the most about it was just, just being around my friends, there's that college bond and, really hanging out with those guys. Because those are guys you see every day. Those are guys that you're around. In the NFL, it's a little bit different. Everybody has families and, this and that going on. So I really miss that camaraderie and brotherhood about it at SC.
Yes, I mean, so the common thread for our campers is they love sports, and then we talk about the business of sports. So you've been drafted. Congratulations again, hometown team. It's amazing. What has been the most eye-opening thing for you now that you're a professional athlete?
Most eye-opening thing for me,
or just surprising thing that you're like, oh man, I wish I would have known about that.
Honestly, I wouldn't say I've had any of those moments yet to where I've, experienced something totally off the wall. I mean, I did go to USC. It's still in Los Angeles, still a big city. So, a lot of those things, the NFL, I've kind of gotten used to at SC already, I can say. Just being in Los Angeles and being at, USC Trojan, it was big there for a long time. It still is. So I guess I kind of got accustomed to the NFL life. It's, a bit easier, I guess, than most people who aren't from bigger cities or bigger schools and have that notoriety. So, but when I do have that moment, I'll come tell you what it is.
Hopefully it never happens to you.
Yeah.
You seem like a prepared person. That's probably why I didn't have that moment. The other thing we talk about a lot, Uchenna, is the all these different careers that exist in the industry. So I kind of maybe want to bring in Lauren in this too. So Uchenna, talk a little bit about like the people that support you, the people that allow you to just focus on football. And obviously Lauren is one of those people. Like, you have an agent? Like, who are the other people that are kind of in the business supporting you?
Yeah, but one thing about me is I like to keep my circle small. I don't like to have, a million people picking at me, what's going on. I like to have my circle small. Lauren, my agent, Ali, who's also a great dude. My financial advisor, my mom, my dad, my sisters. That's pretty much all I got in my circle. A couple of friends from back home, but I keep my circle small.
So Lauren, can you talk about like how you and Uchenna were able to form that relationship and kind of some of the work you do to help him?
Yeah, so we got connected through his agent. So we've been working together since day one. So since the day that he got drafted, I got to be at that. It was honestly one of the best moments. And sometimes I still come across, I'll send it to him sometimes because I'll come across that video in my phone where we're all at his parents' house. And it's that moment when they announce his name on TV. So, that's how it started, but directly came through his agent who, as you mentioned, is a very highly respected individual in the industry and just a great guy too. And so, yeah, that's how we got connected. And then since then, it just jumped right in. That's the good thing about Uchenna keeping his circle very small, is that obviously being at his parents' house from the beginning, getting to know who those people are who are in that inner circle, and then making sure that we keep it that way moving forward. So everyone's always in the mix. Everyone knows what's going on. When they came to Chicago this past year to play the Bears, we're at dinner with both him and his mom. It becomes awesome. That because it's so much more than just the day-to-day of the business side. I mean, this is personal work. He's letting me into his life, his true life, to be a part of, yes, it's his brand, but the reality of your brand is that it's who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot, so we've made sure from the beginning. I mean, it took some time, in the beginning of just showing him that he can trust me and bringing him the right types of opportunities and letting him understand that, look, I see you, I hear you, I'm trying to get to know you as much as possible to make sure that the types of deals and opportunities that we facilitate are things that you actually want to do. So now going into year 3, that's kind of crazy to even think about. But just thinking about that, I mean, it's been time. It took time to keep building that up and keep that going. So
could you draw a line for our students between an agent and I guess a marketing agent, or kind of a, sure, however you position yourself? Because I think our students really just know that an agent exists and they probably don't really know what else people do.
Sure. So I'll just tell you the number one difference is that I am not certified with the NFL or the NFLPA. So my job is to stay on the outside in terms of facilitating marketing deals, working with the community relations department at the Chargers, whereas Uchenna's agent is the one who's actually negotiating his contract. You know, he's handling the different things that come in through the NFLPA and having those conversations. So when, you know, Uchenna comes up on that next contract, he's the one who's going to have those conversations with the team. So that's definitely the biggest difference.
So agent focuses on football, you focus on everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's also important, you know, we stay in close communication, you know, and I think that's another thing too. Sometimes people have to know is that you got to figure out your lane and go there, but it also very much, it's a people business. So you have to be able to stay in your lane and be really, really good at it. But you also have to have some really strong relationships with the other people in that person's life.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, Uchenna and Lauren. And thanks for kind of having the career portion of this conversation, which I think is really important for our students. So I think shifting gears, like, you know, we're a nonprofit organization, so we believe in doing good for others. That's like what our mission is. Our mission is to increase social mobility and expand diversity within the industry. So that's what we're all about. Uchenna, the reason really we wanted to talk to you today is because you're such a generous person, right? You're clearly a giving person. One of the things that we talk about at our campus, Sports for Good, how people and organizations can use sports for change and community impact. Mm-hmm. Lauren mentioned I think we're the youngest player ever to be nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Why are you so passionate about giving back? Was there a person, was there a moment? Like help us understand why you have made that such a major part of your commitment.
I feel like it all just goes back to how I was raised. You know, I was raised, you know, very well by both of my parents, you know, God bless. You know, they just taught me to just always be kind. You know, it's always just been in my blood. My grandmother always, you know, bestowed upon me just to be kind, give back. You know, it always benefits you in the end. So when I grew up, you know, I never really had like, you know, guys like me coming back to my city or my school, like really, you know, talking to us or, you know, just being that inspiration. So I thought, you know, where can people, you know, look up to, you know, because when I was growing, I looked up to Kobe. I was I wanted to be like Kobe. You know, and I feel like, you know, wanting to be like him and how his lifestyle was. And if I incorporate it into my life, I can be great too. So you know, I always thought back, like, who, you know, if I can be somebody like that to the, you know, to the younger generation, that would be great. So it all started there. I got involved with different clubs, Boys and Girls Club here in my city in Carson. Had a flag football team going to them, helping them, coaching them, just spending time around them. You know, just, like I said earlier, trying to be a role model for these kids. I feel like they're going to be the generation to really, you know, outbreak or do something crazy that'll benefit this whole country or world or whatever it may be. So if I can be that inspiration, you know, my life will be fulfilled. So I just try to be as kind as I can, try to give back and just try to inspire the next.
You know what awesome. I'll say, Pat, I want to just add to that. You know, one of the biggest things that I was very proud of Uchenna, and I was very happy when the Chargers, you know, recognized what he did, because what most people don't know is that for pretty much the entirety of the first 2 years of his NFL career, he spent almost every single off day either at the Boys and Girls Club or giving back to some sort of organization. He also got involved at a local hospital that his dad's involved in, and we've done some other things. But he took it upon himself, and he wasn't doing it so that he could set himself up and win an award. I'll tell you that. Like that was not it. It simply was, I truly want to make an impact and give back. And he was probably one of the only people who spent, you know, those early years saying, I'm going to take the one day, literally they have one day off a week. And that was the day that he was going and making time for these kids. I mean, I remember the day he called me and he's like, okay, I'm going to be their flag football coach. I mean, he did this stuff on his own. It's not like, you know, we're coming up with these ideas like, okay, we got to be strategic of how you're going to be Walter Payton Man of the Year. It wasn't it at all. That was the aftermath of him putting everything in up front. I mean, that wasn't even a thought, to be honest. We never even talked about that because most players don't get that early on. Yeah. So I just think it's important to note that he simply saw an opportunity, and he said it perfectly. It came from his parents. His parents, you know, instilled a lot of these values in him from a young age. But that's one thing that sets him apart, and that to me is just very admirable and speaks a lot to his character.
Very admirable. That's amazing. How do you pick? I mean, there's so many great causes to give time to, and you've alluded to it a little bit. clearly you play football, so like flag football makes sense. But you probably never played flag football if you never played tackle football. But like,
Right.
you know, how do you pick which causes you want to get involved in that mean a lot to you?
For the cause I picked for children's diabetes, it hit home to me because I have a family member who is experiencing diabetes. So I hold that very near and dear to my heart. So I figured out, why not, get involved with children. Children, like I said, I like working with kids and inspiring the youth. So I thought, why not do children? And something I hold dear to my heart is such as diabetes. So that's how I got to volunteer with children's diabetes.
Can you talk about, because I'm sure you're exhausted from practice and all the other stuff you've got going on. You're always probably doing interviews like this with people, right? How does it make you feel to do good for other people?
It makes me feel good about myself. Like I said earlier, it was instilled for me from a child. That's just what I was, just found joy doing, was making other people happy. So it's just part of my nature.
There's like that quote that's out there. It's like, do good, feel good.
Yeah. That's
You know,
exactly.
right? Like, and I think, especially now, there's just so much challenge right now in the world. Like, there's just a lot to not feel good about.
Right.
And if you can take it all on and like it become overwhelming and you're like, this is horrible, but like if you can just spend time with us today like you're doing and do something good, you don't know how that's going to inspire people. Plus it fills you up. It makes you feel better about yourself.
Right.
Lana, I've been asking a lot of questions. I'm going to put you on the spot. So Lana is one of our teammates here. Do you have a question for Uchenna? I literally just put her on the spot. She didn't know she's going to have to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question actually for Uchenna and Lauren. So you briefly mentioned a few of the events and organizations that you support, but can you give a more specific example on, from start to finish, like idea to execution to results on a type of event that you've worked together on? That way, the campers can really understand the entire path for it.
Yeah, and how much work goes into it.
Yeah.
I'll let Lauren explain that one. She's better at
Yeah,
me.
I can jump in.
We both delegated there, Uchenna. That was great.
So Uchenna was just talking about Children's Diabetes Foundation. This is a perfect example. So he completely came up with the idea to partner with Children's Diabetes for the My Cause, My Cleats event that happens every single year with the NFL. And as he mentioned, it was a strict tie to someone in his family, so he decided to work with that organization. He did it by way of his own. He came and found that organization, did it on his own, wasn't doing it for any sort of PR. So after the fact, after it happened, what happens is the NFL then auctions off those cleats, and all of those proceeds go to the organization that you benefited. So we got connected. I simply reached out to the organization, Children's Diabetes Foundation, and said, hey, just wanted to reach out. Was so happy that Uchenna chose you guys. They were blown away. They couldn't even believe it because we've never spoken to them before. So they were honored. They also just thought it was amazing, that they then got all these proceeds from the cleats. What happened from there is it developed into a relationship where this past year, Uchenna was actually one of the keynote speakers and one of the presenters for their event that they have out in Denver. So he flew out to Denver for a couple of days. He spent day one actually with the children that are at the hospital that they benefit. They even set up like a little mini, kind of like flag football, like mini drills outside where they could play football. So the kids got to get out of the hospital and go play with him. And then the next day was a luncheon. And they have all these big name people, celebrities, all these things. And he's up there, presenting things. He also donated some tickets. And a sideline pass, and that went for, I think that ended up going for almost $10,000. So in addition to the cleats and all this, he's out here raising all this money for them. And there's a lot that goes into that. There's the little details that people don't see of us going back and forth and making sure that we have the flights booked. Make sure there's a hotel. We got to make sure that there's a car that's going to pick up Uchenna when he gets off the plane in Denver, takes him to the hotel. Now we got to make sure that he's then being able to interact with the kids. We're getting him set up. There's obviously was PR that went along with that. I know the famous clothing designer Rebecca Minkoff was another one who was involved in it. So he's there with her, and they're doing PR efforts. And then the actual day of the event. And then since then, there's been additional follow-up. Obviously with COVID, they're not able to have their event right now in person. We're trying to figure out what that looks like. But then it's figuring out, okay, where do we go from here and continue to develop that relationship? So that was kind of really cool start to finish, of where it simply started with him saying, I want to honor this group because I love what they're doing. And then it turns out, he's there in Denver actually interacting with the kids, helping raise a ton of money, and auctioning off different items. And then, like I said, we've stayed very involved with them. And whenever their next event is, he'll be a part of that as well.
Amazing. Sounds like a lot of work too.
Definitely was a
Just
lot.
a
Of,
little,
I
yeah.
wanted to make sure I was on top of everything though, so I didn't have to.
That's my job. My job is just to let him, that's always my goal. I should say it's my job. That's always my goal, is to be able to say, look, just be here at this time and everything else will happen. It's like, I'll send you the whole itinerary, but really just be here at this time and we'll make sure everything else happens.
All right.
Well, you did that today when we got Uchenna on this call, so thank you for that.
No problem.
So, Uchenna, I would imagine on the field goal is Super Bowl championship, defensive MVP, Super Bowl MVP. I'm sure you have on-field, in-sport goals. What are your goals outside of the sports?
Definitely just I'm really big in I guess you can call it creating generational wealth.
Yeah.
I guess so. I'm big in real estate. Owning property. Just having just advancing yourselves in any way possible. So I have that going on outside of football. Just keep making sure that I build up enough equity for myself that I'm taking care of my kids and my kids' kids, and just making sure my future is my legacy is all good and everybody's just taken care of.
And you have support. I assume you have people that support you in that too, right? You mentioned a financial advisor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what's one of the separate panels that we have actually with some Eric Armstead from the 49ers and then a couple former NFL guys are going to talk about financial literacy, because that's one of the things that a lot of professional athletes struggle with is we've got this money, what do we do with it? What's even more awkward is people know how much money you make. So
yeah.
Because it's posted, so I'm sure they're like, people are coming to you looking for money. Like, I got to have a guy that handles that, right?
Like I said, I keep my circle pretty small, so I don't have people, coming picking at me, all these different things going on. So, I have a good team. I have a good job of managing things, and everything's going on the right track for me. So,
would you ever want to have your own nonprofit, you think? Clearly you like to support other nonprofits. I know that doesn't create generational wealth, but you could have a good generational impact.
Yeah, I've definitely had that thought. That's been in the air for a while. Of course, with COVID, you can't really do too much, but we do a lot of brainstorming about, what I want to do and what direction I want to head in. So that's definitely in the works.
Awesome. Well, it's really amazing and impressive that you're so willing to give back. I kind of wanted to close it out with easy, hard question. So you're a professional now, and we're talking to a lot of high school kids that want to be professionals.
Right.
Monday morning quarterback, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to your high school self as it pertains to a career or even just in life? What do you wish you would have known when you were 16?
From what I know now?
Yeah. I know that's a hard question. Sorry.
Man, I would just tell myself, just stay focused. All the things you want in life when you're young, they're going to come to you. So I'll just tell myself, just make sure you just stay focused, stay on the right track, and just stay, goal-oriented, just always just stay focused.
You think your 16-year-old version of you would be proud of what you've done?
Oh, absolutely.
It's got to feel good, right?
My 16-year-old self would not have thought I would be in this position at all.
He's still trying to play Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
Still trying to be Kobe Bryant, So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it. Once again, we're a new venture. This is the first time we've done a career exploration camp online. So having someone such as yourself that's so willing to give back and having the ability for you to share that story is just so awesome and so compelling. So I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And this is going to have a profound impact on a lot of our campers. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then Lauren, thank you so much for sharing kind of how you support Uchenna and what that relationship looks like and that partnership looks like. And thanks again for all your support. We're going to see you next week in the panel. I think you're leading a panel discussion on Wednesday morning. Very excited about that. Focusing on, creating your own lane in business as an entrepreneur, which I'm really excited for you to share. So really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for your time. Lana, great question. As always, did a great job. Sports Biz Camps Career Exploration Camp is Tuesday, July 14th. We added a 4th day because there's so much programming through Friday, July 17th. Students can still register at sportsbizcamps.com. Uchenna, Lauren, thank you so much.
Thank you.